Hi, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to crochet our beginner level classic granny square. For this pattern you're going to need some wool. I've got Aran weight yarn here. You're going to need a hook, you're going to need scissors and a needle for weaving in your ends at the end. So the first step in the pattern is to tie a slip knot and chain 4. So if you need to learn how to do that, there should be a video for slip knots and chains in this playlist. So first of all, we're going to find the end of our yarn. I'm going to tie our slip knot. Pop that onto the hook. We're going to chain 4. There we go. Then what we're going to do is join our chains with a slip stitch to create a small centre circle for our granny square. So we're going to take our hook, put that in the first chain you've done, push it all the way through. We're going to grab our yarn and pull that through the chain, and then we're going to take it through the loop on your hook. And what you've got left is a small circle. And that's the end of step 1. Step 2 is how we create our first round, and I'm going to introduce you to granny stitch. Now granny stitch is just a combination of double crochets. So here, this is how we're going to do it. So first of all, we're going to chain 3. And that chain 3 is going to pretend to be our first double in our first granny square, in our first granny stitch, which I'll show you what I mean in a moment. So now we're going to do 2 double crochets. So we're going to yarn over and take our hook and put it through the centre of the little circle you just made. Then we're going to grab our yarn and put it through. So we've got 3 loops on the hook. Then we're going to yarn over and go through the first 2. Then we're going to yarn over and go through the next 2. So now we've got 2 spokes coming out of the centre circle. This one is a double crochet and this one is 3 chain stitches. And can you see they kind of look the same? Now we're going to do another double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, needle into the centre hole, grab your yarn and pull it through. So we've got 3 loops on the hook. Then we're going to yarn over and take it through the first 2, yarn over through the first 2. And now we have 3 spokes coming out of the wheel. That's 2 double crochets and 1 chain 3. And what that shape is, that triple spoke, that is called a granny stitch. So we're going to do these all the way around the outside, but we're going to add some extra chains to help make that into a square. So we're going to do those chains now. We're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do another granny stitch, or 3 double crochets. So it's yarn over, into the centre, grab your yarn and put it through. So you've got 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Then we're going to do 2 more of those. You see that? We've now got 2 granny stitches, both made up of 3 spokes. And what we've got in the corner here is those chains, and they're going to make up the corners of your square. So we're now going to do 3 more chains. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do our next granny stitch. So it's yarn over into the centre, grab your yarn and pull that back through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and again. And there's our next granny stitch. Now we need to put another corner in, so it's chain 3. And then we're going to do our final set of 3 for our next granny stitch. And can you see that we've got the bottom half of a square there? So it's yarn over into the centre, grab your yarn, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And again. And one last time. and then we just need to add our final corner in. So it's chain 3, and then we're going to join this round with a slip stitch. And all that means is we're going to take our hook and push it between these 2 stitches here, grab our yarn and pull that through, and then we're going to take this loop underneath the loop that was on your hook. And there you have the first round of your granny square. So if you're going to change colours like I am now, what you want to do is tie off your end. So all you need to do is go do a chain stitch. But instead of going again, you're going to pull that up high, pull it tight, grab your scissors, and snip it off. Then you can slide this colour out, and you've got yourself the beginning of your granny square. So all a granny square is multiple rounds of these granny stitches. And I'm going to show you now how we do the next round. The first thing you want to do is grab your next colour, if you're using your next colour. So we're going to grab that here. We're going to tie this into any of your corners. So I'm just going to pop it through one of those corner spaces, tie a knot. You want to leave yourself a bit of an end because you're going to weave that in at the end. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a corner. So corner granny stitches are slightly different to regular granny stitches, and I'm going to show you what I mean now. So the first step on our second round is we're going to chain 5, and those chain 5s are going to become 3 chains, which are going to make up one of your double crochets, and then the next couple of chains, which are going to make your corner space before your next actual granny square. Okay, so here we go. I'll show you what that means. So you're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to do 3 double crochets in the same space, in the same corner space. So we're going to yarn over and go in there, grab your yarn and bring it back through, then it's yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And then we want 2 more of those. So it's yarn over, back in the same space, and another one. So what you have there is you've got a granny stitch or 3 double crochets, and then you've got a space, and you've got this spoke that comes down here. And what that spoke is the last stitch in your round, and you'll see what I mean when we get round to the end there. Okay, so our next step is to move over to the next chain space, and the next chain space on this round is the next corner. So we're going to do 3 double crochets or 1 granny stitch in that space. So yarn over and into the hole, pull your yarn through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Bit more yarn there. So yarn over, back into the same space, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and again. And you'll find as you do this, you'll get more and more proficient at the double crochet, and this will get faster and faster. So now what you've got is 2 granny stitches, but we're ready to make another corner. So what we need to do is chain 3. And then we're going to do our next granny stitch in the same space. So in that same centre that you've just been working in. So yarn over, into the same space, grab your yarn and pull it through 2, through 2. And now 2 more. Can you see that? Because you've done these 2 granny stitches in the same space with your chains in between, it's given you a nice corner edge. Now we're going to work into the next one. It's going to be exactly the same. You're going to do 2 lots with chains in the middle. And this is a granny corner, by the way. So there's your granny stitch. We're going to chain 3 to make it a corner. I'm going to yarn over and do your grannies back into the same space. There we go. And there you have another corner. So now we're going to do the same, another corner. So yarn over into the next corner space, grab your yarn and pull it through, so you've got your 3 loops on the hook, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and again 2 more. That's your first granny done, so now we need to put your chains in to make the corner. And we're started our next granny stitch. So I've done the first one, so it's 2 more. Okay, and there is our next corner. So the next corner we're going to work in is the one that we started in, and to finish this we're just going to do 2 double crochets and then slip stitch it into that chain that you did initially, and that's going to look like the third one in your granny. So if you want to watch that, it's yarn over into the space, grab a yarn and pull it through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and then one more time. And then we're going to slip stitch like we did before to close the square. So put your hook through that corner space, grab your yarn and pull it through, and then pull it straight through the other loop. And there you have your next square. So again, we're going to tie this end off because I'm going to change colour. So do a chain stitch, pull that up high, tighten it off, and snip. Got some nice ends to weave in. And there you have the second round of your granny. So we're going to carry on doing this in exactly the same way. You're going to do corner granny squares in the corner, and we're going to do normal granny